What's going on, guys? Welcome to a new podcast, and today we're gonna have an interesting topic, and we have an interesting guest from all the way from Singapore. We're gonna be talking about how it is to be a Singapore agent and how different it is to be from a Malaysian agent to a Singapore agent. So, without further ado, let me introduce the guest for today's show. Hello, Caleb. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great. Long time never see you, Vince. How are you?
Yes, long time. It's been 2018 was the last time I met you. That means very long time. So before we get into the topic, can you give us a short introduction for yourself?
Okay, I'm Caleb. So basically, I focus generally in the Singapore market. So specifically, I'm doing mostly in the HDB market. So HDB basically is a kind of public housing in Singapore, such that it's
Mm-hmm.
affordable for people to for Singaporeans to buy,
Mm-hmm.
and subsequently they can resell it out in the open market.
Okay. So before we get into the main topics, right? Can you give us like why did you actually started doing real estate?
Okay, why did I started doing real estate is because back in 2016, that time I was doing my own business and stuff like that. But then I felt that at that time doing my own business was very labor intensive because I was back in during that time I was doing delivery services. So it was very labor intensive, and then I feel that I wanted to scale much more in terms of my knowledge base. So that's when I entered into real estate market and deliver good service to my clients through structuring their property and making sure that they can make money through property gains and property investments as well.
Just want to ask you, right? Right now, everybody's been talking about the market being very hard to sell. It's increasing the prices here and there. Recently, there's been news that property prices are increasing, and the price point to enter is getting difficult and difficult for more people. And there's recently a news covered by CNN is saying that Singapore's prices are actually increasing, and a lot of HDB owners are actually being reluctant to sell off their properties. How is this actually affecting the Singapore market and as you as an agent?
Okay, so prices have definitely increased to 2020. 2020, because of COVID, prices have always been increasing up because the trend is that people are now looking towards buying a bigger kind of property. So when they are looking towards buying a bigger property, that's when you start to see that all these HDB prices starts to increase because the older HDBs, the sizes are a lot higher. So when the older HDB size are a lot higher, that's when a lot of properties are increasing in terms of pricing.
Mm-hmm.
So when HDB's pricing are increasing, it's a lot of barriers for people to come into the HDB market. But the thing is that because HDB is a kind of like affordable housing, there is grants available for them. If they have to stay near parents, there is grants also. So pretty much it still cushions off the price increase. But the thing is that they have to stretch compared to somewhere about 2019, 2018, 2020 period. But overall, it has increased. And when HDB sellers they want to go towards the private market, they also can consider. But the thing is, overall, the private market also has increased also. And factoring in the cooling measure has come in just late last year. It's
Mm-hmm.
it actually is the cooling measure is supposed to bring down the prices, but it has not been so effective yet because the whole need of moving towards a big because the cooling measure is targeted mainly towards investor, second property owners. So, but most of the buyers are genuine, such that they want to move to a bigger apartment, a bigger size unit. So that's why the cooling measure is not so effective per se after what has been done since late December last year. So generally, prices are still increasing because the desire to shift to a bigger house because of work from home arrangement has always is always there. So, but right now we are still uncertain on the future because Singapore is right now already to different countries, and Singaporeans are able to go back to the offices already. So in such a situation, price right now we still think right in the private market, in the HDB market as well.
Is it because that there's less of supply in the market? Is that why people are reluctant to sell it off? Because the supplies in the market are not even big enough? Is it because of that?
because in terms of the HDB market, the supply is quite low. HDB, there's two kind of market: the BTO market, which is built by the government, and the resale market, that is the resale apartment itself. So if because the BTO market is taking quite a longer time to build, that's why a lot of people are going towards the resale market, and that's when the resale market is increasing price lah. Then with regards to the private market, the number of new launches is quite low this year and for next year as well. And the new launches bidding is a lot higher. That's why the prices are increasing as well. So that's why, if I'm not wrong, the second half of 2022, the government is releasing more land for sale. But of course, when you release more land for sale, it's still going to be a huge lag time from the time when they launch to the time when they finish completion as well.
So you're speaking about more of HDB and BTO, right? I actually did some research about this. It's very foreign to what we are experiencing here. For what I know is BTO is built to order, right? That means they build specifically for your own design. How does that work actually? Do you like actually go to the government, hey, I want a house like this, build for me? Is it something like that?
No, it's not exactly. So the government every 4 months, every 1 year 4 times, February, May, August, and November, they will launch a specific project, a specific cuisine. During that specific area, right, they will show out, okay, in this area, I want to build this number of 2-room flats, 3-room flats, 4-room flats, and 5-room flats. So people see that, oh, in this area, there's going to be this development going to be built. Then in another area, there's going to be another development going to be built. So you as a buyer, what you do is that you go into the website and then you choose, oh, I want to buy this specific 4-room flat in this area. So you put in a registration application towards it. Usually it's oversubscribed, meaning you say there is like 400 units over here. Usually it's 2,000 people who subscribe towards it.
Wow.
So 2,000 people subscribe towards it, and then what happens is that only they will give a queue number for it. So it's a randomly balloted queue number. So if you are the lucky 100, you usually can get the choice unit that you want. So because it's 2,000 people who balloted for it, then the rest of the 1,600 cannot choose. Cannot get to select this unit lah, basically. So every quarter there is this new BTOs that is out in the market for people to ballot to choose which development they want. So it's not exactly you go and tell the government you do this, but the government come out with a plan and you choose from the plan which development you want.
I see. So, but there's also another scheme in Singapore market where the government initiate in terms of racing, like how many races per development there should be. It's I do believe it's called EIP. Stand for. Oh my god, I forgot what it stands for, but it's EIP lah.
I think integration policy. So basically, in a certain cuisine, there is a certain percentage of Chinese, Indian, and Malay.
Yep.
So that's one. Then another one is a block. Within that certain block, there is also a certain percentage. So they will sell to, like, say, for example, 70% Chinese, 20% Malay, and 10% Indian, or Indian and other races. So if, let's say, for example, that block already reaches the full 10% Indian and other races, so Indians can only continue to sell next time to Indian and other races only. So because of this, generally it is to maintain the racial harmony within a specific block, such that you have all the different race in a specific block and in a specific area. Because they don't want a cluster such that this cluster is only predominantly Malay, or this cluster predominantly Chinese, and it will form somewhat a racial disharmony lah, basically.
Yeah. Which is kind of like a nice idea. When I was doing research about this, I was like, hey, that's actually a nice idea, like having all those proper balance between different races. But then also it raises a concern for me as well, which is let's say if I put myself as a real estate agent over there, and let's say I can there's a Malay buyer, but then the seller is an Indian, but there's actually a Malay buyer. How will that affect me? Like, is there a solution for that?
So if, let's say, for example, in the particular block, right, the seller is an Indian and then you are Malay. So if let's say that particular block has not reached its quota, that means this Indian can sell to all races. So it doesn't matter if it is selling to a Malay buyer or not.
I see.
So,
Okay.
but
Okay.
if let's say the block has reaches the full quota of Indian already, then what happens is that they only can sell to Indian buyer. So it's
Wow.
whether
Okay.
the quota has been met or not.
I see. All right. So, with all of this, I hope you guys are listening to this. With all of this restriction and with all of this obfuscation we have, right? Is it very hard to be a real estate agent in Singapore at the moment?
Not really, because the market is quite diverse. It's quite huge. With HDB forming 70% of the housing market in Singapore, there's a lot more you can play around with. So it's not very difficult, because at the end of the day, it's all about finding the customers, finding your own sellers, own buyers to transact, because it's all about building trust and building understand your customers' needs to help them transit from one place to another place. So at the end of the day, it's not tough, but it's not very easy as well, because we have about 30,000 agents in a small little island already.
With that being said, right, predominantly there's like well-known agents out there, like for example, Property Lim Brothers, J&A Real Estate, Stack Homes. With all of these big competitors you have in a very tight market, right? How do you able to like put yourself out there in a competitive market? How do you differentiate yourself?
I think at the end of the day, the whole market is so big, and you have all these big players and stuff like that. So it's all about finding your own niche, niching down with what is your own specialty and stuff, and serving just this small group of people. And that's when you are able to thrive already. It doesn't really matter if they're out there doing well and stuff like that. So to a large extent, focusing on small niche is very important.
Okay. So I noticed that you also done some video marketing, some videos, testimonials, right? Is there a reason you did that because of this big players are using videos to promote their properties, or is it something that you really wanted to do since, I don't know, 2018? Because I remember 2018 you didn't start doing videos. Side note, when we first met, Caleb was very quiet. I was like, when I saw his videos, like, oh, Caleb can talk, not bad. So what made you do all this stuff?
Okay, creating videos, creating content is really about reaching out to people through education, helping them understand how the property works, how the property market works, how all these different concepts work. Because at the end of the day, they wouldn't touch it for the next 10 years if they bought a property, or if they're thinking of selling another property, they wouldn't think about it for the next 10 years. So every time when they search on Google or YouTube, they are able to see about it. So pretty much it's more about building awareness, and also for myself, it's really about touching up on all this concept and teaching to people as well. And through some of the contents, I also managed to reach out to quite a number of people through the video content, and managed to help some people like how to decouple, what are the things to take note and stuff like that. So because some people will ask me eventually all these terms and details and stuff like that. So also able to help people out as well through these small little videos.
So is there any like a good story that you like to share? Like when you're doing videos, something happened from there?
I think from doing videos, one of the good story I shared is that I managed to help a client with their whole decoupling process, and then help them understand, because I have a video about decoupling. So basically, decoupling is about selling because this property is owned by two owners. So decoupling is basically a process whereby this owner will sell his share to the other owner itself. So I help them understand how it all works out together. How is it possible for them to be done, so that when this person sells these shares to him, this person can buy another property without paying additional taxes.
Okay.
Because if let's say he owns this property, then this person goes and buy another property, then he only pay additional taxes, because it's considered a second property in Singapore, basically. So once
he did a video about that.
once he sells this particular property over to this person. He doesn't have any property left, so he go and buy another property. He can save $180,000 simply just by doing that. Because the additional taxes is about 17%. And if let's say he buys a 1 million property, it's easily $170,000 already. So, so that's a lot of money. So because of that, because of doing just one simple trick, he is able to save that taxes amount.
Okay.
So I find it helpful basically.
Okay, so I mean, you guys hear it from Caleb. Doing this educational video is very helpful for their prospect clients as well. And hopefully you guys are doing more education videos following Caleb's style. So Caleb, just before we wrap up the podcast, right, can you share with us some of the contents that a real estate agent can try? Not necessarily have to be Singaporeans. It's like a general thing, like what kind of contents can a real estate agent do for their own personal branding?
I think for me, how I do my content is really very simple way. It's basically answering specific questions, ASQ basically. So because people always have this specific questions that they want to be answered, but sometimes it's not just one person, it's a lot of people, but then they don't ask it outrightly. So to a certain extent, if you go and see like all the different property websites, there's always the FAQ and always have questions that you always want to have. So you can do a video about that. Then you can then just simply turn that video out into very interesting kind of questions that people will always ask. And when you do that, then you get more views and you have to educate more people from there. So it's simple concept of answering specific questions.
So is there any portal that you use to get all these questions up?
Like for example, the Property Guru Ask Agents section, that's one. Then then for myself will be those personal finance websites where they can ask specific questions about the personal finance topics, and one of it is the property topic. Then yeah, I think that's about it. Or if not, usually people will go through forums and see what kind of questions do they have.
So I think I would like to add up one more thing is that there's one website called Ask the People. This basically is what his website say lah. It's like basically you just asking whatever question and they will just drive out all the questions they asked by in the internet one. So maybe you guys can just try it from there as well. So Caleb, we have come to the end of the podcast. Thank you very much for giving your time to finally be, and it's our first Singaporean in our show, by the way.
No worries.
Alright, so anything you want to add up, like any social that they can follow you before we end up the podcast?
You can follow me on YouTube. That's one way. On Facebook, I'm not so active, but through YouTube, it's more active, posting regular contents from there also. So let me see what is my handle.
So guys, don't worry. I will put his link down below so you can follow him and see what he's doing up. So don't worry about that, Caleb. I got that. I have your Facebook. I have my YouTube. I'm a 100% stalker of your whole thing already. So guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video and hope you guys learned something from it. And always guys, go out there, discover, connect and inspire. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.